Hey everybody, this is Natalie from Light of Ascension Tarot. Welcome to your reading. Today's reading is called Where Are You Overly Invested? Where can you reduce some time? Where should you reduce some effort? And just where are you overly invested in life right now, currently? And I have 3 piles to choose from, and you're going to choose based on the pile that you feel most drawn to based on the categories that I have here. And you can definitely watch more than one pile if more than one pile is speaking to you. Pile number 1 today is going to be family and friends. Okay, so if you feel overly invested in family and friends, you're going to choose pile number 1. If you feel overly invested in your work and your finances, you'll choose pile number 2. And if you feel overly invested in romantic partnerships at this time, you're going to choose pile number 3, okay? And again, like I said, you can watch more than one pile. That's pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. And I'll have a link in the description box so you can go directly to your pile. For those of you that are joining me from my other channel, Natalie H Tarot, I have another channel on YouTube. For those of you that are new to this channel and just found me on this channel, you can find a link to my other channel in the description box if you want to check that channel out. I do more like love and romance pick-a cards on that channel. On this channel, I do more spiritual type topics. Okay, and so we're going to go ahead and get right into it. For those of you that want to follow me on Instagram or TikTok, details for how to do that are in my description box as well. So let's go ahead and settle into the energy. Let's take a big stretch and a breath, right? And let's clear the energy. And we'll just spray a little Florida water, get everything going. Okay, let's do it. Pile number 1, welcome to your reading. You chose family and friends, and today's reading has to do with where we feel overly invested. So there were two other piles. There was pile 2 with work and finances and pile 3 with romantic partnerships. So if you want to watch those piles too, you're more than welcome to. This is the family and friends pile where you're feeling overly invested in family and friends. And we're going to talk about why that is, how you can reduce it, and what you can do going forward, okay? So thank you for being here today. Let's go ahead and channel it in. Spirits, angels, and guides, please help connect me to the beautiful energy of pile number 1. And let's help them reduce overinvestment in this particular area of their life, please, and thank you. Okay, so when we're overinvested in family and friends, we can have a lot of unexpected visitors and intrusive behavior from our loved ones, and they're not really respecting boundaries. They're kind of just stopping by whenever, just walking right into your house, not knocking, not calling, just thinking they can come in at any time, right? So just behaving in a way that's doesn't have very many boundaries, and, maybe coming over and saying, hey, can I stay with you? And not really asking, just expecting that you're going to say yes. And just generally a lot of intrusive behavior. With family and friends, when we're overinvested in family and friends, there can be challenges with emotions where we're overly dependent. Like if one person is sad or angry, the others feel like they should be sad and angry too, right? You can find that in families that are very enmeshed, where someone isn't just allowed to have a bad day and other people can still remain happy. Holding ourselves back to sacrifice for a family or a friend's needs. If we have a pattern of holding ourselves back, there's usually issues with closeness or distance, and there's not a lot of privacy. And we feel that we cannot make unique choices. And if we want to make our own unique choices and find our own unique path, then that's like a betrayal to that family or friends. And then we feel guilt for having boundaries, okay? And we end up overextending ourselves and just having guilt when we aren't able to. Another thing that says we're too invested in family and friends is when we overshare our personal experiences, like way too much, talking way too much, getting way too into our personal experiences and just kind of dumping on people, or someone's doing that to us, right? And then when we're over invested in family and friends, it can result in role confusion and feeling responsible for those who've mistreated you, okay? So, you know, I mean, all these areas of life that we're going into here in piles 1 through 3, I have definitely been overly invested in all these areas myself. So I completely get it. From the time, you know, I was about a teenager till the time I was about 28 or 29, when I moved to the West Coast and left the Midwest, I was very overly invested in my family at that time. And so, yeah, so I think that, you know, I needed some space and distance from that. And sometimes I've had friendships where they've been just way too up in each other's business, right? No privacy, just, you know, just stuff like that, right? So we've all been there. So let's go ahead and see what's going on with pile number 1, please, here, Spirit. We have a proper burial for freedom. There's nothing to be gained and everything to be lost by trying to hold on to that which no longer serves us. Oriasis, Lord of the Dead, guides you now to release that which no longer needs to be a part of your life so that you may be free. So having a proper burial in order to gain some freedom, right? And I feel like I was reading that almost and look at her face is rather irritated here. It's like people trying to impinge upon you, people getting into your space, people just thinking that they can kind of control what's going on with you and you just getting sick of it. And when I read this, I first thought it meant a burial for your freedom, like you don't have it anymore, right? But what this card is saying, and that probably was true at some point where your family or friends, your family members or friendships were kind of controlling your life. And you know, it says here that the Lord of the Dead, Oriasis, guides you now to release that which no longer needs to be a part of your life so that you may be free, okay? So that you can make your own unique choices and not feel like you're betraying people by doing that, because you have to live your life, right? Pile number 1, you have to live it out. No one else can live it for you, right? We have house and buildings, number 1. What does the house or the rooms of the house represent to you? Is it in order or is it a mess? What state are you in? So if you've been avoiding like doing projects at your house or, you know, remodeling or just things that you want to get done, basically even just cleaning up around the house, taking out the trash, you know, wiping down the cupboards and the counters and all of that. If you haven't been able to do that because you've had people just coming over randomly, showing up at your house and being like inviting themselves over and just assuming that they can stay with you, right? It's kind of it turns into a lot of chaos, right? And a house is kind of a metaphor for ourselves, our bodies, our lives, right? And I feel like for you guys, it's like, you guys are like, hey, I want to take back my privacy. I want to take back my space here, okay? We have grief. I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. So, you know, talking about loss and the Lord of the Dead here, right? So there may have been an incident with a family or friend that really needed you because somebody passed away or somebody lost a really important relationship to them and this person could have been really leaning on you and really needing you. But again, we talked about the challenges with emotions where it becomes overly dependent. And if someone is sad or angry, the others feel like they need to be too, right? So you could have gotten kind of pulled into something here. We have friendship. Okay. So some of you guys could have lost a friendship here because you know, it was very intrusive, or you may be experiencing some grief regarding a friendship that just wasn't what you thought it was going to be. And yeah, and I just feel like you guys could also in this pile, this is not just about family, but it's also about friends that have been super maybe intrusive and challenged your boundaries here, I feel like. And you know, whoever this friend or friend group was, it's not like they weren't going through something. They were legitimately going through something, but at the same time, like, you know, it's not just you that needs to provide all those support here. We have Virgo, right? So somebody here is being very, you, pile number one, is really being selfless, taking care of others, making sure everyone else is okay before checking to see if you're okay, right? Checking in on others and trying to hold on to things that no longer serve you, and just, you know, trying to be of service to everyone, right? But there could have been a particular friendship that really caused you grief. I remember a particular situation with my Virgo, one of my Virgo friends, where there was a friend in our friendship group that was really causing her a lot of grief. And she would just invite herself over to my friend's house at like all hours of the night, sometimes drunk, and would just really upset. It really was upsetting to my friend, okay? But she was trying to be a good friend, and she felt guilty because that friend was going through a hard time, and it just was a nightmare, you know, what was happening there. We have Golden Palace, right? So your house is your palace. And for some of you who are like around 23 years old, like maybe this is the first time you've kind of had your own space, or you've lived on your own, or you've always wanted that, no matter what age you are here. And, you know, home is where the heart is. It's your palace. It's your home. You pay the bills there, right? You don't need to put up with people coming into your space and mucking it up. In this particular case, this friend brought over a thing of like dragon's blood incense and was literally lighting it, and ran around my friend's entire house with it, trying to clear the energy, and made her entire home like really smell really bad. Like she was like coughing and sneezing, and I was like, this is out of control, you know? She came over at like 1 a.m. and did this. So people just out of bounds, not having any boundaries here. We have Amethyst and Balance, right? You may have someone, a friend in your life who's going through a hard time, or a family member who's going through a hard time. Maybe they lost someone recently. But it's, you know, like there has to be balance here. It's just not all on your shoulders. And just because you may have more free time than some of the other people around you, like maybe you don't have kids, or maybe you don't work like some insane job or something like that, it doesn't mean that you're just a dumping ground for everyone else and their shit, okay? Dear Spirit, bring a gentle touch. And I think you guys really do that. And with your friendships, you guys do bring a very gentle touch, and you are there for people when they need you. And that's a very beautiful thing. It's a lovely, like beautiful quality, pile number one. But the deer can also trample someone, and like if they get in their way or are, you know what I mean? Or kind of like the deer isn't just gentle constantly, right? And there's balance where, yeah, we can be there for each other. We can be a safe place where people can come if they're feeling down, etc. But we don't literally have to nurse every single person here back to health. We have Rhea and Flow, okay? So getting more into your flow, doing more of what you want. I feel like some of you guys have been very tired because I'm looking at her eyes here, and the look upon her face is like, oh my God, I have heard this story over and over and over again with this particular family member or friend. It's like you guys have listened and listened and listened, and you're kind of tired of listening. You're like, ugh, you know, and that's the time when to like basically disconnect your energy. Because with Virgo energy here, pile number one, I feel you guys are very sensitive to energy, very sensitive to the energies in your home. And you can't just take constant chatter at your face. I feel like sometimes you guys need space and time, okay? We have change here. So some of you guys are needing to change where you live. Like you could be like people that are very annoying and always impinging upon you, always wanting you to take care of things for them, you know, that live rather close to you. I feel like some of you guys are like, I just want to move and like move to this mountain where there's no one else, and maybe move somewhere else, okay? So some of you guys thinking about change here and thinking about changing where you live. and trying to find like a better circumstance for yourself. You may actually be cohabitating with family or friends who are just on your last nerve, you know, and some of you are just kind of waiting to get to that point where you can exit stage left, okay? You guys are like, it's going to take a freaking miracle. Card number 33 here with this amethyst and grief card. It's going to take a miracle to get my ass out of this situation. I feel like some of you guys are like, God, you know, it's so annoying at this point. And yeah, I feel bad that this person went through this and they're trying to find balance and get back into a good energy. And I've tried to be as gentle and loving as I can be, but I'm just getting tired here. Okay, take time out to breathe, disseminating moon. So Spirit is saying, be gentle with yourself first and foremost. Treat yourself like you would one of your best friends, right? Treat yourself with the love and reverence that you would treat one of your most favorite friends, okay? And you know, and be gentle with yourself and take time out to breathe here, okay? We have the Lord our God here, the Lord our God and Savior, and we have the masculine, okay? So some of you guys maybe letting people walk on you a little bit, letting people take up too much of your time, constantly you showing up for them, getting sick of listening to them, right? I feel like you guys are needing to balance your masculine with your balance your feminine with your masculine, and create some boundaries and structure, okay? The masculine does serve a purpose. And sometimes when we've had negative masculine influences in our life, we want to move, we feel like we don't want a lot of structure, or we don't want a lot of, you know, certain things in place because we respect the feminine and we kind of want to flow and just be, but it's saying here, you can still flow. Rhea, the goddess Rhea here, you can still flow, but just have some structure there, okay? Just have some structure there. Have some better boundaries around your home and some of the changes you're making. We have card number 20 and Judgment. So again, it's like, you know, you're directing things. Things are happening at your direction. I feel like pile number 1, you're actually in the power position here, and people do seek you out because you have these skills to stand by people when they're going through really, really challenging times. And you help them balance out their energies. And it's almost like this person on the Judgment card here is almost kind of like a shaman in a way, or an energy worker, or a grid holder, or a witch, or something like that, where you're holding space for people that's incredibly important. I just felt like my arm and my back like twitch. So I don't know if you guys are having some pain in your arm, shoulder, or back, but I just felt that, okay? And there's a need to kind of spread out and push your chest out and hold your arms out. I feel pile number 1 as in like a welcoming gesture, like welcome in the miracles, welcome in the balance, let go of the sadness, right? And yeah, so I just heard that song, Young Hearts Be Free Tonight. Time is on our side, okay? And we have peace. I love that for you guys. Card number 9. Number 9 could be very important here because we have card 18 as the deer spirit, and 18 adds up to a 9. So definitely 9 and 33 and 7 could be important numbers in this reading, okay? And the winds of change are blowing, pile number 1, and peace is, you know, time is on our side. Peace, we have a lot of time to get it right. There's a lot of peace in knowing that too. Bridget, goddess in your sacred name, a light within me, peace's flame. Okay, so look at that card. Try to soak in the energy of peace and quiet. I feel like for you, pile number 1. Ooh, I love your guys' reading. This is quite nice. And yeah, you guys are like finally a moment of peace, right? And I feel like some of you guys are like, I'm gonna think of some really good excuses to kind of get out of some of these things and then put in really good boundaries here with the masculine. There may be a masculine energy in your family or friend circle that is bothering you too, or you just need to work on channeling some of your own masculine energies to kind of protect you from some of this stuff, okay? So let's go ahead and see, how is pile number 1 being really overly invested right now? We have 6 of Wands and 8 of Wands. I feel like you guys are people's cheerleaders and you're like, come on, you can do it, right? I know things have been hard, grief, right? This grief and friendship came up. I know things have been hard. I think in the past, you definitely were very rah, 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 6 of Wands to other people. Like, you can do this, you got this, I believe in you, everything's gonna be okay. Like, when people are around you, they feel like they're witnessing a miracle, like they feel like very protected, very confident, right? And these are amazing traits, pile number 1. Like, you may help people get excited about life again, getting out of this grief energy, right? And looking forward to some things in life. And I feel like you guys are really fun to talk to. And you have really great observations here with the 8 of Wands. And but I also feel like sometimes these conversations make you feel kind of impatient because you're like, okay, like, just move it along, you know? Good for you, pile number 1. Let's see, what is pile number 1? So how is pile number 1 being overly invested here? The Fool. Yeah, I mean, look at the arms spread out here again. It's like hyping people up for, you know, the changes that are happening in their life and being like, you just got to do it, man. You got to take that leap of faith. Everything's going to be good. Like, everything's going to be fine. And I feel like sometimes too, it's a lot on you because you're like talking or listening a lot, or you're taking in a lot of information here with the 8 of Wands, and you know, you're trying to help people kind of get back on a better track in life and start over. And it's a lot. I feel like it's kind of a lot on you here. And some of you guys may not be able to kind of get your work done. Maybe you have pets that want to get your attention or go for walks, or you have children, or your work needs attention, or your money needs attention, but there's too many people reaching out and they all want your perspective because it's very unique. We talked about here too about the ability to kind of make choices that are unique and how people to us, and how some people can experience that as a betrayal. I see this like baby tiger kind of clinging onto your leg here. Pile number 1 is some of these people in your life kind of like, well, wait, where are you going? Or wait, what are you doing? Right? And you're like, I'm just following my path. Okay. I'm following my unique path here. So how can pile number 1 divest themselves from this energy? We have 5 of Cups. So we did talk about that energy of loss and letting things go. And sometimes just letting go of needing to kind of be in the center of the ring of things and needing to kind of be at the forefront of things, and letting that go, and just realizing that sometimes people are going to be sad and people are going to go through losses, and we're not going to be able to, they kind of need to go through that. You know, people need to go through that. And you certainly have been through losses and grief before as well, pile number 1. So it only makes sense that other people are going to have to feel those feelings too. And they're going to have to be kind of sad and deal with it. And 5 of Wands. Okay, so some of you guys may be worried that people will be either sad or angry, like we had on this card here, where it says, you know, sad or angry. Actually, you know what? I think I wrote that here. I'm sad or angry. Challenges with emotions, overly dependent. If one person is sad or angry, the others feel they need to be too. So there could be people who are sad and angry in an upheaval and expecting you to kind of be that way too. But look what you have. You have peace, and you need to take time to breathe out here and be gentle with yourself, like this deer energy. You also had amethyst here, which is very healing and gentle. So, you know, realize that sometimes when people are being you know, depressed or they're very angry about something, it doesn't mean you have to solve that problem for them or jump in any way. We have Three of Pentacles. So I feel like you guys try to like do some of the work with them or shoulder some of this with them. And some of you may try to help in practical ways and be like, yeah, no problem, I can do that for you, like in a practical way. And, you know, the thing is that it's kind of creating, I mean, Mars is exalted in Capricorn. This is a Mars and Capricorn card. So you would think that this card would look a little bit better, but the storm clouds are a brewing, you know, and I feel like, you know, never do for people what they can do for themselves, because they need to kind of learn the lesson, right? And some of you guys may be helping out in practical ways, like running errands or running around or picking people up or doing various things. And it kind of runs you ragged, right? You can't literally live these people's lives for them. They have to live their own lives, okay? Like, you're not living their lives, and why would you want to? Because you have a fabulous life, or you will have a fabulous life, okay? We have Princess of Swords here. So look at this, you know, this is you kind of, I love her face because her nose is like really scrunched up, and her fist, she's making a fist with her hand, and looks a little bit mad at kind of the stuff and the things that you've been expected to do or help out with. And I feel like you guys, this sword is pointing directly at, you know, this Mercury here, this kind of like this symbol, which, you know, Mercury actually, that's not, interesting. That's not really even Mercury because it's Mars. But it looks like the glyph for Mercury, which is interesting. But basically, I feel you guys are pointing things out to people and saying, hey, like, you know what? And you guys are compassionate, you're compassionate souls, but there could be some, you know, irritation that's built up here, pile number one, and rightfully so. And I feel like you guys are just going to come out with it and say it and be like, you know, hey, like, I can't do that. I can't continue to kind of do this for you anymore. Like, whatever it is that you've been doing, whether it's running errands or making calls or picking people up, etc., because it's interrupting your day, your productivity. And for some of you, I feel like you've been doing this for a while. Okay, you've been kind of Mars and Capricorn, like you've been doing this stuff for people for a while. And I feel like, you know, it's just kind of time to take a look at everything that you're doing kind of for others, or all the things that you're involved with or doing because other people asked you or something. Going down that list, pile number one, and just start crossing things off the list, right? Just no, can't do that, right? And then having the courage to speak up and say, hey, I know I've done that in the past, but I'm not going to be able to do that anymore because I've got a lot on my plate and I need to focus on that. Or just saying, hey, I'm not going to be able to do that anymore. Like, no explanation required, okay? So how else can pile number one divest from this energy? Realize too, Ace of Cups, focus on your love life. For some of you, there may be a Libra, bottom of the deck here, adjustment. There may be some adjustments that you need to make to kind of focus on, if it's not your love life, then it's healing and renewal, it's your health, it's classes that you're taking on healing or health, it's investing back and being gentle with your own self and with your own energy. This is one of the most beautiful Aces of Cups I've ever seen. It's so mwah. I love it in this deck. Chef kiss, right? Pile number one. Beautiful Ace of Cups here. And that's what's waiting for you on the other side of getting rid of some of these responsibilities that people have kind of dumped on you. All right. And it's just going to be a matter of you kind of putting your foot down, and people may find it irritating. They may be like, well, that's very out of character for pile number one. You know, you may get some blowback, pile number one. But the big thing is that you don't have to carry, it's not up to you, like I said, to live these people's lives. They have to live them. And there is going to be a message that you're going to communicate about, hey, I'm not going to be able to continue to do this anymore, like on a practical level. Maybe it's just listening to the same shit over and over. Whatever it is, you're finding your peace, okay? Pile number one with this Ace of Cups here, you're filling your cup up first and you're finding your peace. And I'm seeing the letter B here. I'm also seeing an N and a D, and yeah, I'm seeing ND here, ND. That reminds me of like North Dakota. Interesting. I'm seeing ND here, but yeah. So you guys are just, you know, you're like no dice, ND, no dice. You're telling these people, Princess of Swords, hey man, no dice, okay? And you're just you're being a really good friend to yourself. You're being gentle. You're taking a breath. You're finding peace and you're filling your cup, okay? Pile number one. So that's the energy that I'm getting for you. That was a really fun reading. I really enjoyed your guys' reading and enjoyed holding that space for you. Please give me a like, share, or subscribe if you feel so inclined. It does help me grow. Drop me a comment because I love the energy exchange. Thank you so much, pile number one, and we will see you again soon. Let's move on to pile number two. Okay, let's move on. I'm gonna get some water. All right. Gotta drink more water. All day, every day water, right? Pile number two, welcome to your reading. You guys have work and finances. So we're talking about where are you overly invested in your life and where do you need to kind of dial it back because it's creating some issues or problems, or you could just be having a better time in life, right? If you kind of divested yourself from this over investment in this particular area of your life. Now you're more than welcome to watch more than one pile too, because each pile had an area of life associated with it. So pile number one was family and friends, and pile number three is romantic partnerships. In pile number two, we're forking on work and finances, okay? I love forking. That is so funny because in The Good Place, did you guys see the show The Good Place with Kristen Bell where they talk about, she can't say the word fucking, so she says forking. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. Pile number two, spirits, angels, and guides, please help connect me to source and my beautiful pile number twos and their really funny, happy-go-lucky energy. Thank you, spirit. I feel like you guys have like a Kristen Bell personality, like you're really funny, or you could be sarcastic at times, or you just got that energy, like really, really fun, a bit of a little rebel at times, okay? So work and finances. So, you know, when we're overly invested in our work and our finances, and some of you might be like, well, I want to be invested in my finances, right? But not to the point, and that's true, but not to the point where we have like a poverty mentality and we feel like we have to keep working and working and working. And if we stop even for a second, we're going to become completely broke and have no money. And so we just work ourselves into a frenzy, staring at our bank account every 5 minutes, getting really frugal, not allowing ourselves to have any treats or experience much pleasure, but just kind of being workaholics, okay? So, you know, and for those of us that grew up in families that we were not wealthy, like I grew up in a family, single parent family, you know, we lived in a really cheap, you know, low income kind of apartment building, and, you know, we did not have money. I did not come from a family with money. And so I very much understand, you know, this kind of poverty mentality at times and feeling like we have to constantly work. And I used to be a huge workaholic. So I know how you feel, pile number one or pile number two. I know how you feel. I've actually been there with every single one of these piles, like overly investing. So, so I'm a good guide for you here, pile number two. So When we are overly invested in work and finances, we may internalize criticism we get at work. We may take work home a lot with us and let it interrupt time with our family or friends. We may take on too much at work, and then we kind of flip out or snap at people at work. We may work in high pressure situations where we're sacrificing our own needs, and then somebody suggests maybe we could do something a different way. We don't want that. We want to be in control, and then we may flip out and snap on people. If we are overly invested in our work and finances, we may identify too much with our job titles. That was also a thing for me I can really relate to, where you kind of people, like one of the first things in the US that people ask you is, well, what do you do for a living, right? And in some other countries, that's considered to be like a really poor question. And in some environments, people don't really care what you do for a living, right? They just want to know you. But I think in the United States and some really Western countries, people kind of have an obsession with this. And if you've, came from a background where you didn't have as much, or you were trying to get away from rough situations and you were really working hard, then you may tend to really identify with your job title. It may be kind of tied to your ego. And that can be challenging because then you feel like you never can even let up for 1 second. You may have your romantic partners or friends or family may miss you and be sad because you're not that available and you're just working all the time. And hobbies, ? No time, right? Like you may have had hobbies when you were younger that you enjoyed, or things that you'd like to explore, take a cooking class, travel more, like just things that you would, spend more time with friends and family, get away on a getaway with your spouse, whatever it is. And there's just like no time, and and you may feel like a lot of perfectionism at times too. If you let up at all, everything will fall apart. Okay. And so those are all signs that we've become like way too overly invested in our work. So let's go ahead. I mean, it's wonderful to be invested in what we do, right? But when we start getting into the toxic end of things, that's when we have to be like, okay, let's dial it back. So let's get into your reading, pile number 2. You guys have the Eye of Horus. The Eye of Horus brings divine perception, protection, and insight. You are gifted with certain spiritual abilities, including divine sight, that are awakening and growing now. You have much divine support and protection so that you may grow in your abilities to serve others with your divine gifts. Trust your perception and know you are divinely protected. So some of you guys don't mistake you for a fool, pile number 2, because your third eye is turned on. And even if you are in an environment that's very oppressive or really takes a lot out of you, I feel like you guys can see the truth. No one should ever mistake you for a fool. I feel you guys know what is going on. You have an excellent sense of perception and you are very smart and protected by spirit. So remember that, pile number 2. We have play. Oh my God, I got chills. You guys need play so much. With friends, hanging out, maybe a sister of yours wants to spend time with you. Look at these 2 little girls here. Maybe you have children that want to spend time with you. Find time to incorporate play into your everyday life. Incorporate, right? Even using business language in your reading, pile number 2. Allow your inner child to experience joy. You deserve to be happy and joyful around others. Oh, pile number 2. I love you guys already. Spirit is wanting you to be more joyful, find your inner child. Maybe some of you guys had to grow up really early, had very serious childhoods, okay? And Spirit is saying, have more fun, baby. Ooh, love. Look at this love energy. I commit to the practice of seeing the good in all things, right? And sometimes when we're really sacrificing and working hard and flipping out and snapping at work, it's like a lot of times like our love relationships, whether it's partners, and sometimes our partners just miss us because they want to play with us and have fun. And they want a companion that they can have fun with, right? And, when you're overworked, that just feels like another thing that you didn't do right? And when it's kind of getting to that point, it's time to withdraw some energy from this workspace and and get back into your heart space, okay? We have blame. All right, I accept responsibility for my well-being. So some of you guys may be blaming what's going on, saying we're short-staffed, and and I get it. And sometimes you have busy times during the year, or you may be blaming a partner, and you may be saying, well, they just have too high of expectations, or, especially when I'm busy and they just want to play and have fun, and I need to take life seriously, right? And yeah, it's very important that I love to work as well, pile number 2, but it's important that because we can always set boundaries, right? And I know sometimes people in work situations, you feel like, oh, if I do that, I'm going to get fired. Or if I quit, I don't have another job, right? And we can definitely get into that kind of scared mentality, especially if we don't have a family to fall back on, or we don't have a spouse to fall back on. It's very easy to feel like trapped, and Spirit is saying, accepting self-responsibility for our own well-being, for our physical and mental health, right? And, really taking that into account. I'm seeing the word beer here too. So I feel like pasta and beer, I feel like some of you guys are like, yeah, I haven't been, a lot of times when we work like that, we don't eat the best either. And then we're like, God, I gained weight or whatever. But yeah, and sometimes at work, like the energy at work can play off of our trauma, and we feel like we have to do certain things, right? And Spirit is saying here, there's an energy of blame going around right now for you guys. Ooh, we have Saturn. Yeah, we could have some Capricorns here. I have 2 sisters who are Capricorns, and then I have a sister that has 1 Capricorn baby who's a 1-year-old, and then she's having another Capricorn child. She's having, anyway, she will, I don't know. Anyone watching this that knows her, I didn't say that, but hey, sometimes my mouth, I run it too much. Anyway, but just saying Capricorn energy, Saturn, etc. This energy of feeling like I have to do this. There's no other way around it. If I don't do it this way, if I don't follow through, if I don't, if I don't take care of this way, no one else will do it, right? Just feeling that heavy sense of responsibility. But also I feel like you guys are masters at what you do, no matter what it is that you do, whether it's corporate, whether it's spiritual work, whatever it is that you guys do, you study, you take it seriously, and you become a master of your craft, which is a beautiful thing, right? But Spirit just doesn't want you to lose your spark, okay? We have card 34 here, so maybe some of you coming up on age 34, or remembering what your life was like when you were 34, if you were having a lot of fun then, or thinking about what you want your life to be like at 34. I see this girl is playing a violin. Maybe you guys, my little sister played the violin when she was younger, so I'm just thinking of her. But anyway, that spark, that just, wow, that spark that lights us up, that makes us feel creative and happy about life. We have spider, create, okay? So some of you guys needing to kind of save enough time, while you guys are busy out there saving the world. Look at the world between the spider legs right here. While you guys are busy carrying and holding up the world on your shoulders like Atlas, Spirit's like, just take a break from that for a little bit and just go into love, release blame, find your creative spark, okay? We have Nightingale Spirit. Love is all around, right? So sometimes, especially if you guys have a loved one, like family, friends, or a partner who's been kind of annoyed with you lately because especially at night, you're working late at night, the Nightingale, and they've been complaining about it, and they're like, I miss you. I want to spend time with you, right? And when you're already busy and you have a lot going on, that can feel like criticism, right? And there is this sense here to internalize criticism. I had that here in your pile, right? So keeping in mind, love is all around, and the reason, and then there's love right here. The reason your spouse or your family or your friends miss you is because they love you, okay? So get that through your thick skull, pile number 2. Hey, I'm telling it to myself too, baby. I've been there, okay? Ooh, we have Spider Woman, and then we have the spider here. Wow, you guys. Wow, wow, wow. We have co-creation, co-creating with spirit, co-creating with another person, maybe co-creating your family, co-creating a vision for the future. It's not just all on your shoulder. Look at you guys. You look like Superwoman here. Look at the mask and then the red in the background. You guys look like you're kind of like Superwoman over here, kind of doing it. And I feel like what you guys are saying is, well, I work this hard and I do this because I love my family and I want to be there and I want to be a provider and I want to be able to show people that I love with like acts of service and things like that. Okay. And I'm seeing the word joint here. So, you could have had a talk with someone with money recently too, maybe about a joint checking account or something going on there. But you guys here are showing up here looking like Superman or Superwoman. But Spirit is saying, you know, you've been taking things very seriously and you've been super active, okay? And it's a lot. It's a lot on your shoulders at times here. Ooh, there we go. Wow, you guys have play, spark, and delight, the energy of delight. The frequency of delight supports our capacity to create experience and feelings of intense joy and happiness. The more delight we feel, the more delight we evoke in others. Wow. I feel like people just want to see you happy in your life, pile number 2. You've worked hard enough. You've sacrificed enough. People just want you to have fun and enjoy life, I feel. Ooh, dynamic. You are such a dynamic person, pile number 2, okay? You're so multifaceted and you're so talented, and you know, you can harmonize many aspects and frequencies in your life, and you're one of those people that I feel like you can do it all, but you need to kind of set time aside. And I feel like if you don't want to do it all, fine. If you want to do it all, do it. But I feel like, you know, it needs to kind of be dynamic. You don't want to get stuck in anything, right? Like, I feel like your partner, your romantic partner, or your friends or family are saying, like, mixing things up and having more fun and being more spontaneous, right? Being more dynamic will bring you a lot of happiness, pile number 2. Ooh, we have North Node. Step out of your comfort zone. So some of you guys, you know, here you may be, you may use work as a way sometimes to, you know, kind of like skitter away from intimacy. I know I've done that a lot in my life. Or you may kind of find your groove in your comfort zone with a job and you don't really question it. You don't really think about it. You just do it. And you don't really stop to think, you know, like, is this right for me? Is this right for my family? Is this job right for me? Is it right for my family? Do I feel appreciated? You know, is it time for me to step out of my comfort zone here and find something that works better for me, right? We have homeland and foundation, okay? So your habits around work and the way that you treat work is kind of the foundation of your life, and it's the foundation of your family, your family's life, and the family that you're creating, okay? So and here with this map, I feel like, you know, you may have traveled when you were younger, or you may have dreams of traveling, and Spirit is like, you've built a really solid foundation with your home and your family, and you know, if you have children, etc. But Spirit is saying, be expansive, okay? See the world as your oyster. Delight in that, okay? Ooh, we have the King of Swords. Lovely, 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 lovely. So there could be a male air sign or an air sign in your life. Maybe it's somebody at work or somebody at home. And, or it's just you guys setting aside enough mental space to, I feel like some of you could be in professions where you have to be very analytical, very sharp, very smart, and you have to think a lot. And it may take you, it's kind of like when you're doing that all day at work and then you come home at night, or you're get off the computer and it's like, okay, now I need to be spontaneous. I need to be like, get lovey-dovey and feel creative and get kind of into my happiness, right? But you've spent all day being very like serious and analytical, using your mind. And that's a beautiful thing. You have a very strong mind. And thank God for that, pile number 2, right? Thank God for that. It isn't your enemy, and your smartness and your abilities are amazing. And that's beautiful. But I think there's room to be a little bit more dynamic and a little more kind of spontaneous and flow with it here. Ooh, wow. We have psychic protection, card number 40. Around me now, a shield of gold protecting me, strong and bold. Okay. So some of you guys may have felt very like attacked by others, or feel that others are blaming you or judging you. Or that if you let up in any way, like people are going to look at you or they're going to judge you, right? And Spirit is saying you are so protected. You guys had the Eye of Horus here anyway, saying that you have much divine support and protection from the angels so that you may grow your talents and abilities and serve others with your gifts. You are divinely protected. And here's Archangel Michael here for you, standing in pile number 2, deflecting any like crazy energies that might come at you or fly your way, or any kind of weird guilt or blame that people try to put on you. Like, you are being protected from that. Okay, pile number 2. So wow, you guys, let's go ahead and see. So for my pile number 2 Spirit, for my beautiful pile number 2s, how should my pile number 2s kind of divest themselves from this over investment in work and finances? How should they kind of like divest them from it? Ace of Wands, go have fun, go play, go have sex, go enjoy your life, like enjoy the fruits of your labor, go make out, go travel, go take a risk, right? Get out of your head, go play, get into your body, right? Ace of Wands, start something new and be spontaneous. A hobby perhaps. Okay, let's see what else can pile number 2 do here. We have Queen of Wands, get into your creativity. The Ace of Wands and the Queen of Wands. So some of you guys may have projects or hobbies or interests that really make you smile. Sometimes when it's like, go out and play, go out and have fun, it's like, oh great, another fucking thing I have to do, right? I've been there, pile number 2, I've really been there. But what makes you smile on the inside? What is something that when you think of it, you look off in the distance and you smile, and you get maybe it's a person that you think about. Maybe it's a Leo. Maybe it's somebody who's like a big kid themselves. Maybe it's somebody who adds a lot of color and playfulness to your life. Maybe it has something to do with music, okay? But when you look off into the distance and you think about things, what makes you smile? What is humorous to you? What puts a smile on your face? Spirit is like, go with that, because it doesn't feel like a huge heavy burden then. It's just like, wow, this is fun, right? That's where you kind of want to go. Here's the High Priestess. So some of you guys here talking about your spiritual abilities and your intuitive gifts here, and a spiritual ability including divine sight and perception are awakening and growing. So some of you guys are going to have new opportunities to create something around your spiritual gifts is also what I feel for some of you here too. And to share some of your knowledge. I do feel like some of you guys will have an opportunity to share your knowledge, to demonstrate you know, what it is that's important and how to get things done in a way that just feels very natural and really flows easily. It's very intuitive instead of like just, you know, yeah, it's just very like overwhelming at times, okay? Like going a little bit easier on yourself here, pile number 2 with this High Priestess energy. Also your guides wanting to connect with you here too with that. 2 of Cups, I mean, here's your partner like hugging you and saying, hey, it's going to be okay. Here's a friend, a family member, or partner hugging you and saying, you know, I know that was really tough. That was a really hard deadline. Or I know you've been working so hard. Like somebody's showing you a lot of like empathy and sympathy and giving you a hug and being like, you know, it's okay. Like, let me hug you, let me hold you, and let's cuddle, let's spend time together. Let's talk about our future plans. Like, let's, you know, let me just show you that you're loved and you're cared for here, okay? And some of you guys like dropping into your intuition and asking yourself, what is it that I really need? What is it that really feels good to me, both physically, emotionally, and mentally? Like, what is it? Dropping into your intuition to see like what it is that feels good to you. We have 9 of Pentacles. So, you know, you could take the Virgo out of the girl, but you can never take the girl out of Virgo. You know what I'm saying with the 9 of Pentacles here, Venus and Virgo? So there's always going to be a part of you that, you know, likes learning things, that likes study. I definitely am getting this study vibe from you. Like there is this very studious side to you. King of Swords, 9 of Pentacles, a very industrious and productive side to you, pile number 2. And, you know, you're going to get a lot of respect from people, okay? But look at the way the falcon is sitting on her hand. She is controlling it, okay? She is sending her falcon out when necessary and calling it back when appropriate. She's not exerting more effort than she needs to, all right? She's just saying like, yeah, this is what I have. These are my skills. This is what I have. This is what I can do. Take it or leave it, okay? Like there's no need to go overboard and go crazy, because I feel like you guys, if you haven't already being seen as a major power player, King of Swords, or somebody here who's very smart and studious, you will be. It's around the corner for you. And some of you guys are looking for that recognition, I feel. But it's this intuition and this instinct of knowing when to apply effort and knowing when to kind of pull it back in, all right? So that is a way to help you divest from this, because even if you guys put, it's like you guys put in 130%. So even if you took it down to 80, you'd still be good. And think about all the time you'd get back, right? Think about it, pile number 2. So let's see what is happening in pile number 2's environment that will assist. How is the environment assisting with this? Wheel of Fortune. So there's going to be some changes either where you're at in your organization or with your home life, and I feel like you guys are kind of putting your foot down a little bit here and saying enough. There may have been a lot of chaos in your work environment, or there might have been a lot of upheaval recently. And I feel like, you know, what's happening is getting some better people, some more knowledgeable people, because the Wheel of Fortune, and getting some more people in the door that are like lifesavers to you or can help you with certain things, because the Wheel of Fortune is also a card of Jupiter, and that's about luck. It's about knowledge, the right place at the right time, destiny. Okay, so things lining up in your environment, you guys getting really recognized for your contributions. Let's see what else is helping in the environment here. So we have a King of Cups. We have the King and Queen of Cups. So lovely, lovely, love this energy. This is what your person is hoping for, or family is hoping for, or people are hoping for. Like, let's go on a trip together. Let's go to the water. I feel like some of you with Jupiter energy, you could be traveling. Some of you could be like booking a cruise. I know we don't do that as much anymore now that COVID happened, but maybe you're gonna take a boat somewhere, a little trip, a day trip. Maybe you're gonna go like sail somewhere like around the Caribbean. I mean, I don't know. Pile number 2, you got all that money, lifestyles of the rich and famous, right? I feel like some of you are gonna go travel. You're gonna be around water. You're gonna get to spend a lot of really connective time with you and your sweetie, or you and your family or children, whoever's important for you, pile number 2. And I feel like you guys are going to get to have some fun, get to travel some places. Be close to the water, experience that sense of peace. I feel like some of you guys are going to get some sun. You may even get a little sunburned. Wear your sunscreen, pile number 2, okay? And yeah, I feel like you guys need a refresh or a nice trip for you to connect with you and your person. Because you and your person, I feel, are exactly on the same page. You are in a very loving, committed relationship for some of you here, or you have that with family or children, or, you know, you've got some nice people that genuinely are compatible with you around you, that genuinely love you and want your best interest at heart. And it's just a matter of you guys kind of making the time for that, okay? So let's get it one more card. What's in the environment here? Page of Cups. So it's your whole family. It's the mom, the dad, and the child, or the mom and the child, or the dad and the child, or whatever. You know, this is a whole family. You know, it's like the kiddo, the mom, the dad, you guys going on a vacation together, taking off, getting away from pressures and struggles and deadlines. Yeah, I feel like this is you guys. Maybe you're adopting a new pet. Maybe if you don't have children, you've got some fur babies, or you want to spend some time with your fur babies. Some of you guys just need to spend some time in the water or by the water. You know, some of you guys here could be like water babies, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. And, you know, maybe you need to go, you know, snorkeling, or just go, you know, maybe just for some of you are not able to do that, go fishing or go for a walk down by the water, down by the river. Like, just enjoy being near or close to the water. Maybe some of you guys are going to go on a camping trip under the stars, right? Just get out of the fishbowl of life and get into the environment, okay? And give your hurried, busy life a break. So that is what I am getting for you, pile number 2. I hope that you loved your reading. I certainly loved your reading. What a fun reading. I'm absolutely loving these readings. I'm finding so much joy in them. So give me a like, share, or subscribe, and leave me a comment if you feel so inclined. I do love the energy exchange. It's so fun. So thank you so much, pile number 2, and we'll see you again next time. So let's go ahead and get into pile number 3. Okay, let's do it. First of all, we're going to take a drink of water here. And water is good. So let's get into the energy. We're going to clear the space and get into pile number 3. Okay. Pile number 3, welcome to your reading. You chose romantic partnerships for where are you overly invested currently right now? Where can you divest yourself from some of this energy? And how can you get some energy back for yourself, okay? Or for other things in your life like work or family or friends, or just for yourself. We had 2 other piles before this one. Pile number 1 was the family and friends pile. Pile number 2 was the work and finances pile. So if you want to find out if those areas are also overly invested for you, you can watch those piles too, okay? Pile number 3. But pile number 3 here, let's go ahead and get into it. Spirits, angels, and guides, please connect me with the beautiful, magnificent, wonderful, caring, loving heart and soul of my pile number 3s, and help me tap into their energy. Regarding romantic partnerships, how can pile number 3 divest some of their energy from this, okay? I just heard, sometimes I feel like someone's always watching me and I have no privacy. So some of you guys could have, you know, a lot going on in your connections, or someone's always around you, or you don't have a lot of time for yourself. But let's go ahead and see. So romantic partnerships. So when we are overly invested too much into our romantic partnerships, when the balance is off and we've really invested a lot, maybe the other person, maybe they're investing a lot too, right? But maybe it's hard to keep up with that pace, or maybe they're not investing as much, but you're putting everything, okay? And when we overinvest in romantic partnerships, we end up feeling like we have to justify our worth to someone. Like, oh, if I do this, or I show up this way, or if I do these things, then I'm worthy for you, right? Or I'd be deemed a good partner for you. And that can lead to fighting back resentment and irritation towards our partners, especially if you're not feeling appreciated, pile number 3, and you're doing a lot for your romantic partner. If you're tired all the time, if you're constantly not getting good sleep, you feel tired all the time, you're running yourself ragged, you're anxious and over everything and you feel dread, okay? So maybe your person didn't text you back right away. Maybe you're over analyzing their messages, their emails. Maybe you are dealing with anxious attachment issues at times where you look at it and you're like, oh my God, like, what does this mean, right? And you just feel like your mental space is taken up a lot by issues like that. Okay, you've forgotten other goals that you have, and that leads to you feeling very stuck in your life. Like you kind of just, when you met your person or you meet people in the past, you've just kind of forgotten other things, other interests that you have, and just kind of pushed them aside for that person. You don't want to say anything or say anything wrong, because if you do, you fear that they may leave you, right? And I know a friend of mine had that, where she felt like she, that she was constantly triggering this person that she was dating, and that if she said anything any particular way, it would really trigger this person and they would get mad and leave her. And so she would never really say how she felt or when she was upset. And that's just no way to live. That's like no way to live, right? And that is an indication that the power dynamic is also very out of whack in that connection. If you feel you can't even like really share honestly how you feel. And when we're overly invested in our romantic partnerships, we can be fearful of asking too much or rocking the boat. And that can lead to codependency, okay? Or we take all of our cues from the other person, right? And where they want to head in the relationship, and we just kind of follow them, right? And I feel like that's also, and that when the other person is not giving, they're not really, their energy is very pulled back, and we're the ones that are kind of pushing, okay? And so that's when we can tell like we're just way too overly invested in our romantic partnerships. So, and I can feel the frustration here for you, pile number 3, because this is a tough one. This is a tough one. I feel like it can be easy. I mean, depending on the family or friends, it can be a little bit easier to put boundaries with family and friends, even with our work too. Like if we get to a certain point with our work, we may just quit, right? With romantic relationships, it's a little bit different, okay? When we're overly invested there, that can really sometimes feel like codependency as well, although we can certainly be codependent with family and friends in our work as well. But I do feel like tightness in my chest right now, pile number 3, and definitely have a lot of sympathy for you on this one, because I have been there before. So let's get your messages. Initiation. When you are being initiated into the divine mysteries of light, love, and power, right? We talked about power dynamics here. There are moments of profound challenge. The key is to find the light within the challenge, the opportunity for growth that can transform any challenge into an experience of healing. With compassion and cleverness, you will not burn during your challenges. You shall thrive. Pile number 3, okay? As you kind of pull back some of your energy and you realize some of the challenges that you've been feeling, some of you guys may have had your heart broken a lot too, which, that just really, it's really tough energy to work with. So I just commend you guys in pile number 3. Pile number 3 definitely resonating with that death card, like the Scorpio card in the tarot deck. I'm just feeling that initiation kind of energy here. Wow. Oh, there it is. There's death right there. Oh my God. Wow. So we have death, and I just said it. It says, what parts of you or your habits need changing? How do you feel disconnected with yourself and others? Have you been neglecting your physical or emotional health? Yeah, sometimes when we're like overly invested in a relationship, we will let go of, like, we won't make it to the gym. If we have certain health goals, like take a half an hour walk every day, right? We'll just completely ignore all the other areas of our lives. We'll neglect our emotional and physical health, and we'll just make kind of everything about our relationships. And Spirit is saying here, like, that is, and she's wearing a blindfold here, like she can't see anything else but that. And Spirit is saying here, like, this is, you know, what habits need changing. And I feel like that's kind of what we're looking at in your pile. Pile number 3 is what habits need changing. Doubt. Here we go. I release the need to know all the answers. I feel like some of you guys are like, well, like when they don't text me back, or I get a text message that sounds kind of off, or when the energy is like kind of sloping down instead of going up, I start to feel doubt and it makes me nervous. I start to feel weird about the connection, or I doubt myself and the fact that someone would really even want to be with me, okay? And Spirit is saying you are learning to work with these shadow energies, and you are being initiated into the divine mysteries of light, love, and power, okay? And there is, you know, when we're working with issues like power, when we're working with scorpionic issues, it can really do a number on us sometimes. I really commend you, pile number 3. But you look at this growth. You guys are growing. I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. I feel like this is the battle cry of your soul, pile number 3. I feel like, you know, that's part of the reason why you came back to the earth plane, is because you want to continue to expand your consciousness and awareness. Even in the face of doubt, you have been growing. Do not think otherwise, pile number 3, because you very much so have been. Wow, 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 wow. Taurus. I'm a Taurus, so I feel kind of called out right now. Anyway, but Taurus energy here. And, you know, it's interesting because there's 2 figures here. There's somebody who's kind of controlling the energy in the room, who has a really big presence, and then somebody who's kind of on the sideline here, okay? And somebody calling the shot versus somebody having to hang back and hold their tongue, or just go with things even though something is bothering them. You guys could have somebody in your life who is pretty stubborn, who wants things their way, and you feel like you need to kind of step to the side, right? We talked about not wanting to say anything for fear of, you know, angering a person or bringing up triggers or issues. And yeah, with Taurus is Empress energy too. So we're talking about, you know, the Empress and death. We're talking about some really interesting energies, okay? The Moonlight, card 51, yeah. So again, and probably at night is when you guys really start thinking about the power dynamics in this connection, and in some of your connections in general, and how at times you've neglected yourself, your needs, okay? And how you've kind of turned your back on yourself, or, you know, and I feel like you guys are kind of unnecessarily, you know, like whipping yourself over this a little bit. I feel, you know, there's nothing to, but I also feel like your needs have kind of gone ignored at times, pile number 3, and you may have been giving a lot emotionally, but the other person not giving as much here, okay? We have water and emotions, right? And this is coming out under doubt. So we could have Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. We could have Taurus here, earth energy. But this is about your emotions. And we saw this here. How have you been neglecting your physical or emotional health? And I feel like a lot of you guys are getting kind of caught up in, you know, like doubting your connection, feeling like it's unstable, being very worried, or wanting to know how things are going to turn out, or kind of wanting to control things maybe at times, okay? Or becoming kind of depressive too at times, because water is ebb and flow, right? It's ebb and flow energy. And like sometimes it's like, wow, amazing, right? And then other times it's like feeling kind of down, right? And not feeling appreciated as well is something we mentioned here. Ooh, we have the seahorse spirit, and it says watch and wait. So Spirit is saying, as you ride the wave of emotion, as you go through these shadow energies, as you work through this process, you are growing and you are changing. And What you're giving birth to is something super unique and interesting, okay? We talked about Empress energy. It doesn't have to be actually giving birth, but you know, what you're giving birth to in your life, the growth and the expansion in your consciousness and a new understanding, right? Spirit is saying, sit back, ride the wave, and watch and wait. There's a lot of water here. The moon, the water, the seahorse, right? And yeah, I feel like sometimes I just heard the word that need to be right. So some of you guys could feel pressure and the need to feel right about someone or something, right? Or someone around you feels the need to feel right and puts you in a space of doubting yourself, okay? However it goes for you, pile number 3, you're conquering these issues and you're taking your time here. We have Aline and we have patterns, right? Number 12, that's Pisces energy. That's the 12th house energy, okay? And we're talking about subconscious patterns that have kind of been stubbornly ingrained in us that maybe have been going on for generations in our family, okay? I'm seeing the initials W and A and the letter H here. And yeah, so I'm seeing the initial TT here as well. And I feel like with this pattern, you guys are like, oh my God, like this subconscious pattern, like I'm finally starting to understand this because we have initiation here. And you know, Taurus energy is very strong and powerful too. Some of you guys getting more grounded with what you want and what you need and having a lot of resilience through these changes as you're working through old patterning, okay? Wow, interesting. Pile number 3, we have belief. So, you know, the frequency of belief supports our sense of self-worth based on our gifts and talents and a strong connection with spirit, okay? So spirit is saying, you know, sometimes you've doubted yourself and you haven't believed in yourself, and some of these situations where you've been giving and giving without the other reciprocating have made you feel like crap at times about yourself or doubt who you are. And spirit is saying, believe that you have the resilience, the power, the strength, and a good enough relationship or a great relationship with your subconscious mind, with the divine feminine, to really hold space and wait and see what is going to happen here, to be patient. Heart chakra, I love that. You guys resonating with the energy of heart chakra, healing your heart chakra, super important, right? What you believe impacts the resonance in your heart chakra. Okay, we have a void of course moon. Nothing will come of this situation. So a lot of times you guys experiencing doubts about your connection, kind of feeling bounced around, up and down, emotions up and down, and then starting to feel very negative or depressed about situations, and your beliefs about that kind of really dragging on your heart chakra, I feel like, pile number 3, okay? And spirit is saying here, yeah, there are times when we're in situations where truly, you know, there's not much left for us anymore in that situation, but we keep hanging on to it. But spirit is saying you are growing through these challenges anyway, and you just wait and see, watch and see what we're about to bring in for you, because it's going to be super cool. Wow, we have the witch's hat. Some of you guys identifying with being a witch here. And you know what it says at the bottom of this card? Can you read that, pile number 3? Spell it out for me. Power, power, okay? And that is something that is coming through so strong in this reading, is your own power, your resilience, your power, your strength, and your ability to thrive even and transform even during challenging experiences. I love that, pile number 3. We have the lovers. Wow, 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 wow. So much, you know, so much happiness for you, I feel, in the future here, pile number 3. Like, This is really positive. Spirit is saying watch and wait, because we're going to bring you a beautiful connection where you're healed, they're healed, you're together in union, okay? And you're bringing a whole self and they're bringing a whole self. And it's not codependent. It's not, you know, based on fantasy. It's reality, and it's beautiful. And yes, you can share from the same cup, but you still bring your own energy to the table, and that's growth, right? And having this energy, this person in your life who meets you halfway, okay, and compromises with you and communicates with you. Wow, imagine that, right? We have Gemini energy showing up here with the Lovers. And finally, we have card number 13, which is, you guessed it, it's the Death card in the tarot deck, okay? And so again, this theme of transforming and letting go, and, you know, death as a way to bring new beginnings that are better than we could even imagine, okay? And this card says energy. A light inside my fire divine, energy fill me, make me shine, okay? So getting out of heaviness, getting out of doubt, getting out of insecurity, and finding your energy and vitality again, because there was something in here about your physical health as well. So getting your energy back, getting your vitality back. And I did write something here about not feeling appreciated and feeling tired all the time, okay? So something here for you about letting go, about some feelings of, if I let go, I'm always going to be by myself. No one will want me. I'm alone, right? And, you know, some of these beliefs and codes that get planted early on in our childhoods, in our hearts, you know, a lot of times because we had parents that were very denying or abusive, or, you know what I'm saying, and realizing these patterns that kind of get stuck within us, right? But the opposite energy of that, there's a lot of Taurus and Scorpio energy in this pile. The opposite of that, pile number 3, is instead of clinging stubbornly to patterns, we are very resilient in the face of change, and we learn to see things for what they are. And we almost, like, she almost has a half smile on her face in a way, like, wow, I knew that. It's almost like, yeah, I feel like she's almost looking, like you're almost looking at some of your past partners, like, how did I think that was good enough for me? Or how did I think that was right? And kind of an eye roll a little bit in a way, pile number 3. So, you know, I mean, the past is the past, and we know that, but you guys are finding your power, okay? Power, my babies. And card number 13, energy, your power and your energy. So let's go ahead and get some tarot here, and let's see how pile number 3 I love how that shuffle sounded. It was like so crisp, okay? So let's see for pile number 3, how can they divest themselves from this energy? How can they divest themselves from over investing in romantic partnerships here? We have the World, okay? So some of you guys needing to make your worlds bigger. Like, your world is not just about a particular person, right? Your world involves nature. It involves the environment. It involves other people. It involves travel. It involves success and goals, personal goals that you want to reach, that are important to you, okay? And what defines your world is not just one person, but is the sum of all your parts, pile number 3, and not just what someone else brings to the table. And it is maturing through this. It's growth. We saw growth energy here. It's maturing through that mindset, okay? So let's see what else here. What can pile number 3 do here? Also Saturn energy with the World. So putting some good boundaries around, like, how much you're going to give, how much you are going to invest, right? And not, especially in the beginning of relationships, not making your whole world about that person. Not going too fast, right? With Saturn, we learn our lessons. We take it slow. We be very deliberate about how we're doing things. How can pile number 3 divest from this energy? We have 4 of Pentacles. So not, there's something here about not stubbornly clinging to patterns in the way that we did things in the past because it feels comfortable, even though it brings us pain and doesn't allow us to move forward, right? Getting out of stagnant energy. And I mentioned that feeling of being stuck, okay, when on this card here about, like being fearful of rocking the boat or asking for too much and just kind of existing in situations even though they're not bringing you a lot of happiness, right? I feel like some of what you're realizing here is a lot of these maybe connections from your past maybe didn't bring a whole lot of happiness into your life. It was like very stuck energy. And it was kind of your energy of clinging on here too. We have the Empress. There we go. I mentioned the Empress. This is where it's like we're going from feeling very small and feeling very like dependent or small or feeling like we're not good enough to opening our energy, being very expansive, being like, this is me. This is who I am. This is the energy that I'm resonating with. And these are the things that I like, want, and love. And my life is full. It's not just about one person or one thing. I'm loving all the green with the Empress and the World card here in the heart chakra. And look at the green around the witch's hat here with this power. Something about your heart chakra and also money, finances, and career, I feel like coming up here. Like it's time for success. It's time to stop holding yourself back, okay, pile number 3, because there's so much more for you here. Let's see what else. Oh, Ace of Cups. Hit me with your best shot, right? Pile number 3. Wow, talk about getting your energy back. Talk about your health. Looking up, your cup is overflowing. You're feeling revitalized. You're feeling like you have something to share with the world, and what you have to share is valuable, and your cup runneth over, okay? And getting into those feelings of gratitude, getting into those feelings of I'm beautiful and I know it, getting healing around any physical issues, seeing the right doctors, getting your physicality kind of worked out here too. It's like the Ace of Cups, it's like where we give, but we don't give beyond a point of putting ourselves into detriment. We don't give just because we're afraid somebody is gonna leave us or whatever. Like we give because our heart is overflowing and we're able to, right? We're able to, and we're giving back to ourselves too. We're not being stingy with ourselves here, all right? Ooh, there it is. There it is, the Death card. It's shown up so many times here, all right? Yeah, and I feel Spirit is saying here, do not be afraid of change. Do not be afraid of your own power, okay? I feel sometimes you guys may make yourself small, or you may diminish yourself at times, or you may have forgotten other goals that you have. You're feeling stuck. You make yourself small. You're not wanting to say anything or rock the boat. And Spirit is saying here, look at Death in this card. The soldier on this horse is rocking up with his helmet on fire, like literally on freaking fire. And there's something about like this girl is on fire, or this boy or guy is on fire. It's about getting your energy and your vitality back, and it's an initiation, right? It's an initiation to find your own power, pile number 3, and not in a way to lord it over others. Like you've had enough lessons with that. This is getting down to your true core, really getting into the core of who you are and firing up that solar plexus, okay, pile number 3, and not being afraid to kind of let dead weight go if necessary, right? Let's get one more card for how does pile number 3 divest themselves here. We have Page of Cups, right? So it's like the calm after the storm, and it's also healing our inner child. Like this card is very innocent for me. It's very sweet. It's very innocent. It's letting go so that we can get back to our heart, okay? It's letting go of all the anxious energy. It's letting go of, you know, feeling like we have to stay in a situation. If it doesn't work out the way we want it to, then we're done. That's it for us, right? And I feel like this Page of Cups here is saying, you know, get back to like the childhood kind of spirit of you. Get back to the inner child. This is also a therapy card for me too, and having supportive people in your life who can kind of like show you the way a little bit without being intrusive, invasive, but just kind of showing you through their love and their actions without being overboard. Okay. So I love that. I absolutely love that. I love that energy for you guys. So how does pile number 3 create healthy relationships in the future? We have the Knight of Wands. So really saying more of what you want, not being afraid to kind of put yourself back out there again. I feel like some of you guys are like, man, this is a lot. You know, this is a lot to deal with, Natalie. And sometimes I feel like I don't even want, you know, like the Lovers. Like sometimes I feel like I don't even want necessarily a new connection because it's a lot, you know, to work through these patterns and these shadow energies and heal and all of that. And I know I so feel you on that pile number 3, but you know, there's something here about you living your life very dynamically and going out and going after it, even in the face of challenges, as we said with this initiation card here. And here's you like going after what you want, but it's also quick. It's not like I'm going to pour endless energy into a situation that's dying or dead, right? And then hang on to it forever. It's not that energy. It's more like I'm going to reach out quickly. I'm going to see if something's there. And if it's not there, fine, I'll move on, right? It's that kind of energy. And I feel like you're very like, I feel you are sexual people, pile number 3. That's that scorpionic Taurus energy. You guys are very sexual people, and the Knight of Wands is always like kind of horny in my view. So I feel like if just even your own sense of horniness will kind of get you back out there. But how does pile number 3 have healthy relationships here? So, you know, here's the devil energy or the shadow side. In this case, people see the devil a lot of times in tarot readings and they're like, oh my God, the devil, it's bad. I do not think that in your case at all. Like, I do not. I think this is a case where we learn to deal swiftly and quickly with shadow energies. And you know, we light them up and we have initiation by fire, okay? And it can be challenging, it can be difficult, but guess what? You've got the power, okay? You have the witch's hat, you have the power, you have the energy, and you're gonna have the ability to identify these patterns and work through them, okay? So working through these shadow energies, especially if you have any shadow energies around feeling selfish, asking for what you want or need. That's definitely, there's a key there to your power, okay, pile number 3? Let's see what else. What can pile number 3 do? Like face the shadow, face it, okay? We have strength. Yeah, that's you guys getting real comfortable with who you are, having the fortitude, having the resilience, having the strength to move through situations that a lot of other people would just kind of accept that this is how it was going to be, or would just kind of coexist in this reality with someone and just kind of live it out. And I feel like you guys are amazing here for wanting to address this and wanting to look at this. And Spirit is just saying there is so much strength in that, and there is so much character in that. There's so much beauty in that. There's so much resilience and, you know, elevation of your soul. There's so much growth here in what you're doing, pile number 3. So keep at it, keep working through this, because at the end of the day, I think you're going to be really at peace. Let's see what else we have here. We have 5 of Swords. So, you know, having those difficult conversations with people, you know, having those difficult conversations where you say, hey, if you need to bring something up, you're not walking on eggshells. You're not saying things because you're afraid you're going to say the wrong thing and then they'll leave you, right? Like, you are just going ahead and having the conversations that you need to have, and just knowing that you can make it through it and you can courageously and bravely face anything. All right, we have the Four of Swords, so I did mention mental peace and taking a break. The work that you're doing, pile number 3, is quite intense work as far as growth of your soul and expansion, and you are facing a lot and you are working through these energies, and it's kind of a bumpy ride at times, and Spirit is saying Four of Swords here. Just make sure that you're taking time to kind of decompress. You're taking time to do stuff that's maybe paint, or maybe listen to music, or go for a walk, or, you know, get some good rest, you know, whatever it is. Have a cup of tea and read one of your favorite books, right? Do something that relaxes your mind and puts you at ease, okay? And one last card here to close the reading, please. One last card, Nine of Cups, okay? Spirit is saying here, you guys are super loving. Your heart is in the right place, and you know, you genuinely love connecting with people, and especially those that you feel are a part of your tribe, pile number 3, and never let that go about yourself. It's beautiful, and this gift is meant to be shared with the world, and it is part of who you are. And you know, never beat yourself up for that or doubt yourself about that, because the love that you share with others and your good nature and the love that you share is like, you know, it's a spiritual, you know, it's a spiritual wake-up call, I feel like, for some people, that their energy may be at a lower vibration, or they may be learning a lot. But some of these other energies, I feel like pile number 3, that you've been working through, at some point here, this is going to start to feel a lot easier for you, okay, is what I'm getting. So thank you so much, pile number 3. I hope you enjoyed your reading. I hope that that was helpful to you. Please leave me a comment, like, share, subscribe. I do love the energy exchange if you enjoyed this reading. So thank you so much, pile number 3, and take care on your journey.